Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today's the 10th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts. Most of the instruments are going to be the ones that we looked at this morning because we did get some movement. So yep, as always guys, before we start looking at those charts, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, just a quick mentioning of our JFD Bank YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our videos that we produce on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to check us out. Also, our research page here on JFD Bank website, and I believe you can find a lot of useful information here, so feel free to have a look as well. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is DXY. Now, I looked at this one. This morning. Basically, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this upside support line, this area right here near D97.40. As you can see, we got a nice good slide here, a nice good break of this upside support line. Of course, that came after we got the remarks from Jerome Powell to the Congress about the economy, and basically we can see that the US dollar is taking a hit and sliding lower. Now, what I was also saying, that in order for us to start considering the downside, ideally we need to see a drop below the 97.18-20 zone, and this way we could aim for slightly lower areas. Initially, of course, we will aim for this 200 EMA here near the today's S3, which is around the 97 mark. But if that fails to withhold, a further slide lower could send this one towards the 96.88 zone, which could be also seen as a nice potential area of support. For now, all eyes are of course on this 97.20-18 zone, because at the moment, yes, the index is trading below that, below the support zone. Let's see if it can stay here. If it can, then yep, we could see further declines. Jumping into Brent oil very quickly, I've looked at this one yesterday, and basically what I was saying is to keep a close eye on this rising channel formation, which in a way is kind of working out nicely for now so far. But what I was also saying, that in order for us to get comfortable with higher levels, ideally we need to see a nice push above the 65.10 zone. And this way we could target the slightly higher levels like the 65.50 or even the upper side of this rising channel formation. And today, of course, after the weaker dollar kind of is helping out here, Brent oil, and you can see that we're having a nice push here to the upside. We had a perfect hit of the upper side of this rising channel formation. So let's see if it actually can continue traveling higher. But to be honest, even if it stalls here or even retraces back down, we're not going to be quite disappointed, because until it's kind of trading within this rising channel formation, we are going to continue aiming for higher levels. For now, like I said, it is looking quite positive here. We are going to continue aiming for higher areas. Yes, but first we may see that little small correction before another leg of buying. Only if it starts breaking the lower side of the rising channel formation, that when we will start considering the downside. We will aim for this little area of support here near the 63.74-75 zone, marked near the low of the 8th of July. but to be honest, if that fails to hold, now this is where probably more bears could start getting excited, and we could see this one sliding further to the downside. So for now, of course, long story short, basically, yes, it is looking quite positive. Do not exclude an opportunity for this one to maybe slide back down a little bit, to correct them back down, and then make another push higher. Jumping into a few pairs now. Again, NZDJPY. I looked at this one this morning, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level here, the 71.80, 81 zone. As you can see, today we had a nice rebound again from that level. The pair managed to push strongly to the upside, managed to break this. This is a bit of a tentative downside resistance line, but nevertheless we're going to keep it on the chart, and you can see that it managed to break through the upper side here, through this downside resistance line, and managed to also break above the 72.17. Now this was the level that I was also talking about, because ideally we need to see the pair staying above this 72.17 level in order to, let's say, consider a further move higher here towards, at least towards the 72.40, or even above that. But for now you can see that we did have that nice spike to the upside. The pair broke above the 72.17, but now it's kind of retracing back down a little bit. But that said, you can see that it's struggling to get back below this downside resistance line. So in a way, this could be somewhat of a sign here for the bulls here, in order to kind of look somewhat as a positive thing. Let's put it that way. This could be seen, such a move could be seen as a positive thing, because if it continues to struggle to get back below this downside resistance line, I mean, we could see this one traveling higher again. The only thing is, like I said, we're still keeping a close eye on this barrier here near the 72.17, just for that better confirmation. A nice pop above this again could potentially open the path towards this slightly higher level near the 72.40. So keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside, well, we're gonna still remain kind of more conservative here and wait for that confirmation drop below the 71.80 zone, and only then we will aim for lower areas. For now, it seems that the the downside could be slightly off the table. Of course, we still have the whole US session to go through, but just continue observing this. This might be quite interesting. USDCAD, also something that I talked about this morning, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on these two levels. So the 1.3107 on the downside and the 1.3145 on the upside. Basically, we got a nice break here below this 1.3107, below the 21 EMA, and below the 20 SMA on inside the Bollinger Band. So in a way, this creates this kind of slightly bearish atmosphere where the rate could continue depreciating, but what we're going to target here is only this level right here near the 1.3030 mark, near the low of the 4th of July, and then we'll take it from there. If it wants to break lower, then yep, that's another feast here for the bears. This would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could see this one sliding further down. But until then, kind of for now, in this little short-term kind of picture, yeah, we are kind of for now at this point in time we remain bearish. Like I said, especially if it continues to trade below the 1.3107 zone, what you could do here is, of course, continue observing this 4-hour candle, and we still have about 35 minutes to go until it closes here on this chart. And in a way, if it stays below this, then I mean there could be more chances for this one to slide further down. But if this suddenly, let's say, reverses back above this 1.3107, well, I mean, to be honest, this is going to be our little neutral territory, because in order for us to start aiming for higher levels, ideally we need to see a nice big pop above the 1.3145 level, and only then we'll aim for slightly higher levels. GBPUSD. GBPUSD, very interesting. Finally we're having a nice pop here. Also mentioned this one this morning, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on these levels. So of course on the downside it was the 1.2440, which acted as a very nice area of support back here on the 2nd of January. Basically, in other words, the lowest point of this year, from which you can see that the pair managed to rebound nicely to the upside. This level here that I mentioned, the 1.2480, so we had a nice pop above this, we had a nice pop above this downside resistance line, and now it seems that it could be traveling further up here. Now we are going to be aiming for this 1.2540 level, which was marked by the high of the 8th of July. This is going to be our first target. Slightly above that, we do have the 1.2560, also a good potential area of resistance, and which is near the 50 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. But we're not going to drag it further up here. Of course, at the moment this is looking quite nice, quite positive, but again, we'll just go step by step on this one, because of course, you know, the GBPUSD overall is kind of on the weaker side. So this move here could be just a nice correction, a small correction maybe before another leg of selling. But again, for now, let's not over speculate too much on this one. You can see that the pair is currently kind of stuck here near these lows, near the June lows, and this is where now. I mean, if previously this area acted as a good area of support here, now it's taking its role of resistance, so it's becoming a nice resistance area. There's 1.2515 zone approximately there. This is where the rate is currently getting held, but if it pushes above that again, then yep, we will aim for these higher areas. Euro dollar, and also good performance here on the euro dollar, of course due to the US dollar weakness, but basically, yep, it is making its nice move higher. Still, for us to get comfortable with the upside, with further upside, ideally we need to see a nice good push above this upside support line, and a push above the 1.1275 zone, and only then we will consider further moves higher. For now, it is where it is. It is stuck here, and like I said, we need that nice good pop above the 1.1275 zone before we could aim for higher levels. Keep your eyes on this upside support line. I mean, it's testing it from the rate is testing it from underneath now. If it continues to hold, we could see another round of selling here, and this one pushing back down. So keep your eyes on this pair. And the last pair I want to quickly touch on here is the EURCAD. Now this is quite interesting because it's very tricky. It's very tricky because, I mean, the Canadian dollar is kind of sliding a little bit, but to be honest, looking at this chart, you can see that on one hand it's now pushing back to the downside, but on the other hand it's kind of managed to break this little tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 25th of June. Again, for now, we're not gonna say that now this could travel higher. Just keep an eye on this level right here, the 1.433130 zone, approximately around there, because if we get a nice good push above this, because as you can see, it recently got held here, because that was the yesterday's high, and it got held here today again. So in a way, if we get a nice push above this, the 1.4730, then yep, we could aim for higher levels. This way we could aim for the 1.48 zone or even further above that. For now, let's see what it wants to do first with this downside resistance line, because as you can see, it's kind of struggling to let it go. If this pair decides to travel to the downside again here, then a drop below the 1.4683 zone could in a way open the path towards this little low here, the low of Monday near the 1.4635 zone. So in a way, something like this could be possible. Again, if the 1.4635 level gets a break, then well, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could see this one sliding further down. But for now, all eyes are on this little tentative downside line and the 1.4731 level. Keep your eyes on that one. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, on my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.